We hear it all the time. AI is going to completely revolutionize our economy. But what if that revolution only benefits a select few? Today, we're digging into whether generative AI will be an economic equalizer or a tool that actually widens the gap between the rich and the poor. Let's get into it.
And look, this is more than just some academic thought experiment. The answer to this question is going to shape our world for decades. Are we headed for a future of shared prosperity, or one with a brand new class of economic winners and losers, leaving a whole lot of people behind?
To get to the bottom of this, we're not just throwing theories around. We've got our hands on a brand new working paper from economists at the Bank for International Settlements. They've crunched the data from 56 economies to see what the future might actually look like.
All right, so let's start with the optimistic view. Could AI really be this great equalizer? I mean, after all, the technology is technically available to anyone with an internet connection. But is access the same thing as opportunity? Let's find out.
The potential here is huge. Nobody's denying that. A global productivity boom is definitely on the table. But the big question the paper asks is, who actually gets to cash in on that boom? To solve this puzzle, the researchers zeroed in on two key clues.
Our first clue in this whole investigation isn't about which country you're in, but what your country does. It all comes down to a concept the researchers call AI exposure.
Here's a simple way to think about it. If you're a writer, AI can be this incredible co-pilot, right? Helping you brainstorm, edit, the whole shebang. But if you're a construction worker, AI's impact on your day-to-day is, well, a lot less direct. It's this difference in exposure that starts to show us who the winners and losers might be. This chart tells a really powerful story. Just look at the top: finance, education, information. These are the brainpower industries. Now, glance down at the bottom: agriculture, transport, construction. Industries that are more hands-on, more physical. The gap you see between them, that's the first sign of a coming economic divide.
So there's our first piece of the puzzle. The kind of work an economy is built on matters a lot. But that's only half the story. Now, let's look at our second clue, which is all about how ready a country is to actually use this new technology.
Because, it's not enough to just have the right industries. You also need the right environment for them to really thrive. And that brings us to our second key factor: national readiness. The researchers measure this with something they call the AI Preparedness Index, or AIPI for short. You can think of it like a country's AI fitness score. It's not just about having the latest gadgets, it's about having a skilled workforce, a culture of innovation, and smart regulations to make it all work together. Take a look at these charts. On the left, you've got the overall AI readiness scores, and on the right, just one piece of that puzzle: digital infrastructure. See the pattern? It's pretty clear. Advanced economies are consistently way ahead of emerging economies. And this isn't a small difference, it's a significant readiness gap. This readiness gap is our second major clue. The advanced economies are basically starting this race with a huge head start. They have the infrastructure, the talent, and the policies all lined up to capitalize on AI from day one. And as we're about to see, that head start could make all the difference.
Okay, so we have our two key clues: what an economy does and how prepared it is. Now let's put them together. This is where the story gets really interesting and where the future of the global economy starts to snap into focus.
And here it is. This is the aha moment. On the left, you can see that advanced economies are dominated by service industries. And on the right, we're reminded that those are the exact industries that are most exposed to AI. It's a perfect storm, the right industries in the right places, totally primed to be supercharged by this new technology.
This isn't just simple addition. We're talking about a powerful multiplier effect. When you combine high AI exposure with high AI readiness, you don't just get a little bump, you get a rocket launch. This is the engine that's going to propel some economies forward, while others struggle to even get off the launch pad.
So, we've followed the clues. We've seen how industry exposure and national readiness create this powerful multiplier effect for advanced economies. Now, it's time for the verdict. And the paper's conclusion is both clear and, honestly, pretty concerning.
The researchers put a number on this multiplier effect, and it's a big one: roughly 2%. That's how much faster a high-exposure industry could grow in a well-prepared country. It might not sound like much, but in economics, a 2% difference that compounds over time creates a massive divergence in economic fortunes.
This chart just lays it all out. The advanced economies are all clustered up at the top, poised for a significant AI-powered growth spurt. But for many emerging economies, the immediate benefits are much, much smaller.
This isn't a prediction of a rising tide. It's a forecast of a great divergence. So, what's the bottom line here? First, the big winners are likely going to be places like Luxembourg and Hong Kong with their massive AI-ready financial sectors. Second, the trend is undeniable. Advanced economies are set to benefit far more than emerging ones. And third, the inescapable result is a future where the global income gap doesn't shrink but actually widens.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's the conclusion directly from the paper's authors. Our results suggest that, on average, Gen AI is likely to benefit advanced economies more than emerging market economies, thereby widening global income disparities in the near term. It doesn't get much clearer than that.
So we're left with this tough paradox. AI promises a more productive future, for sure. But that future might not be for everyone. The data suggests we're not heading for a world where AI lifts all boats, but one where it powers a few superyachts while others are left in their wake. The challenge for all of us is to figure out how to change that trajectory before it's too late.